Do you love a good book? Well, if you're driving, raise your hand. No, don't raise your hand. Just if you love a good book, you'll probably love a great book festival. It's the Missouri Book Festival, September 13th and 14th, 2024. Our guest is going to talk about it on St. Louis in Tune. Welcome to St. Louis in Tune, and thank you for joining us for fresh perspectives on issues and events with experts, community leaders, and everyday people who make a difference in shaping our society and world. I'm Arnold Stricker, along with co-host Marcus Langston, a.k.a. Mark Langston.
I know. They used to always call me Marcus around the house.
M-A-R-K-U-S or C-U-S?
I don't know. That's a good...
Wrong.
Oh, Marquise. Marquise Langston.
Oh, Marquise.
The Marquis de Langston.
Oh, no. Here we go. Don't give him any ideas, please. Wow, I never thought of all that.
How do you feel to be a...
Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or not.
What's your middle name?
Joseph.
Marcus Josephus Langstonius.
I'm a very biblical kind of...
Josephus just sounds like you're one step from like, Josephus, bring in the hound dogs.
You ain't nothing but.
A hound dog, I know.
Oh, we're going to have a good one today.
Oh, I'm afraid you're right.
It's all that coffee, Mark.
I know. No, get your finger on the censor button today. Okay.
Well, let's get civil.
Okay. It's about time.
We're going to return to civility, folks. This is a great one. Organize a neighborhood event. And how many people know their neighbors really, really well? So try to get everyone on your block together to get to know one another. It could be a block party, a movie night, a holiday party, caroling, kids' night, etc. How about a neighborhood website? Well, who's going to take care of that? But, just get-togethers. A National Night Out is coming up in October. That's a great time to do a neighborhood get-together.
Yeah, I can tell you in our neighborhood, we do have neighborhood parties. They shut down the street. The kids can ride their bikes up and down.
Absolutely.
We bring some of those blow-up things, and we barbecue.
Yeah.
People chip in, and we do have a little Facebook page, but we do that, and then we do the National Night Out. We'll do something with that, and the police will stop by, and maybe a fire truck.
Yeah, we always invite them too. Yeah, they can get a little cue or get some.
Do that
cookies.
Downtown? Do you guys have block parties downtown?
We do.
Do you?
In our buildings, we have it right between. Yes, we do.
Do you really?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yes.
That's good.
The fire departments come by several times, and
even if they don't need to.
Even if they didn't need to, they turn the siren on just for fun.
I'll be darned. So it echoes throughout the downtown area.
And the police captain came around.
Did he now?
Invited the chief. He went somewhere else, though, unfortunately.
Well, that's, I get it.
It happens. And you invite your alderman and some of your city council people, your mayor and stuff. They say, I invited and they didn't show up.
And I was just talking to a neighbor about how neighbors aren't neighbors much anymore. They don't talk to you and they don't want to. It takes a while sometimes to get to know people in your neighborhood.
And we call our place a community, and we are a community. And that's what this is, organizing a neighborhood event. And, there is a community that has organized an outstanding kind of festival, and it's the second annual Missouri Book Festival. The city of Washington, Missouri has done an unbelievable job in organizing this festival that Amanda Doyle is going to be talking with us about. And Amanda is the author of, at least 10 books now?
10 on the nose.
And I'm going to that festival too.
Yeah.
Ridley, is that his name? He's going to be there.
Right.
Signing books.
That's right.
Yes. We're coming. And giving a keynote address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's written a lot of Disney books.
Yes. And Mark's a Disney fan.
I am. So we're coming out there to be with,
Great.
Yeah,
we're going to find out the secrets of writing for... I feel like the mouse has his hand in everything, right? Well... You got to have permission from the big mouse to tell all the secrets.
There's a bit of that going on. The duck helps too sometimes.
We don't talk about the duck. Hey, that's pretty good.
No, it's not. Do not encourage it, please.
Sorry, that's terrible. Don't do that again.
Thank you, Amanda.
Amanda Doyle's a writer, and she's a zealous St. Louis transplant. She's an author of 10 books. And we had her in to talk actually about the book Tower Grove Park, Common Ground.
Mm.
But some other books that she's written include 100 Things to Do in St. Louis Before You Die, 100 Things to Do in Missouri Before You Die,
Oh.
To the Top, the Gateway Arch Story, Standing Up for Civil Rights in St. Louis, Missouri Almanac, St. Louis Sound, and Illustrated Timeline, etc., etc. Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So the Missouri Book Festival, it's actually there's activities this week, but most of them are going to take place the 13th and 14th, which is a Friday and Saturday, Friday the 13th and Saturday the 14th.
Right.
What are some kinds of things that people can look forward to out there?
So on Saturday, and as you mentioned, in Washington, Missouri, which is a lovely little drive from St. Louis if you've not been out there, it'll be a jam-packed day from 10, I think, until about 6. We'll have interactive activities that are all related to some kind of book. So book festival, I don't know if people even know what a book festival is, but when I hear that, I think of, someone reading their book and then you clap, and that's nice. We will have some people reading their books. I mean, I'm one of those people. I read my book and hope people clap, or buy a book or whatever. But it's really meant to engage in a different way. So we have a ballet performance of an adaptation of The Nutcracker, which is the Nutcracker set at the 1904 World's Fair. They have a book. This ballet company has a book about it, but they're going to actually perform and have they'll teach kids how to dance who are there for that. We have professional wrestling. There's a wrestling ring set up out in the parking lot. Wrestlers, because we have there's a polite applause. That's not wrestling applause. Come on.
You're right. That's true.
Because we have a author who will be there with his book about wrestling at the Chase. We have some food demos from people who are cookbook authors. So we have a wide variety of programs that you can participate in and do something. And then the idea is the inspiration for this all comes from a book of some kind.
I want to give the website so people can check this out. It's MissouriBookFestival.com, MissouriBookFestival.com, where stories come to life. So in Washington, Missouri, I have some stats here. In 2020, they logged more than 1.5 million pages of reading. There's a foundation that provided more than 20,000 new books to area schools. What about Washington, Missouri? It's the best reading community in the United States. How does that happen?
What?
You go and you find out what the requirements are, and then you do those things. You log your pages and you get your people and you say, we're it. But they really, the whole community has really made an effort to support this festival as a way. I mean, everybody loves a festival, but really the point is to encourage literacy and to make especially young people and maybe people who don't read a lot anyway, consider reading as part of their lives, because it's, some people love to read. Other people, it's a reluctance, and you got to find the right thing that is going to really turn that spark on. But just to let people know that you can find, a book is not something you keep on your table and walk away from. Ideally, when you find the right book, it's going to affect your life in some way. It's going to make you want to find out more. It's going to make you want to do something, learn something, maybe write something of your own, maybe share your own story. So Washington has really taken it seriously, and a lot of their community organizations are pushing this idea of sort of literacy and that being a component of an important and worthwhile life. That's cool.
That's cool. So over 30 programs and activities for all ages. And there's going to be a keynote event with New York Times bestselling author and St. Louisan Ridley Pearson. What do we know about Ridley Pearson?
Well, he's written about a bazillion books, from what I can tell.
Okay.
And he has written for several different audiences. So he's written a lot of adult spy, thriller, international intrigue kind of books, at least one of which has been turned into a film. And then he, with Dave Barry, if people are familiar with humor columnist and author Dave Barry, he and Dave Barry wrote a series called Peter and the Starcatchers, which is sort of the backstory of Peter Pan, which is pretty interesting. And then, as Mark was saying, the newest series that he's been working on is called Kingdom Keepers. And they are young adult kind of novels set in Disney theme parks. And so it's like capers that happen in the parks and things that need to be solved or fixed.
Are you on the, of course, he's a big Disney fan.
Yes, I'm afraid I am.
So if you were going to get stuck in one Disney park, which one would you pick?
Wow, there's something special in each park. It has to be Magic Kingdom because there's so much there.
The classic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And that the princess's
Palace.
palace.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of strange things going on there. So- yeah.
So this is free.
Yes, everything is free. It is free to attend. If you want to come to the keynote on Friday night, you can make a reservation just so that you'll know you'll have a seat, but you're going to have a seat. It'll be fine.
What time is that keynote address by Ridley?
It is 7:00 on Friday night, and it'll be at the auditorium at Washington High School.
Okay, so this is kind of spread out in downtown Washington in different various locations. It's
Yeah.
just not in one big tent. And
Right. Saturday, kind of the main festival day, it's centered around the Washington Public Library, but there is a great bookstore right across the street called Neighborhood Reads. That's going to be a hub, and then several different buildings right around there, kind of from there down to the river. It's all visible from there, but there are going to be tents spread out different areas around the downtown.
And it's very walkable in Washington. And
Yes.
it's not like to get down to the river from, I guess, Main Street. It's not a real steep kind of walk.
Right. It's not like trying to get down to the St. Louis riverfront.
Right.
You don't have to
Cobblestones.
gird yourself, and it's a little
Throw
more
a lifeline.
picturesque, a little easier jaunt.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about food, folks, because there's a lot of food trucks are going to be down there.
Mm.
And I love this food demos. I didn't see is Father Dom going to be there?
Father Dom, he was at the first Missouri Book Festival. He is not going to be there this year. We have actually, though, a couple of people are really wanting to see. He's kind of into the pastry and the bread and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
We have a woman who is a donut influencer. I don't know if that's phrase.
What is
She's-
though?
We're
He's-
influencers in donuts
I
too. We
know.
like to
I
eat
know,
them.
I am influenced by donuts, but
I'll take a dozen.
yeah. No, we have this amazing donut author, Rachel Wyman. She's written some donut cookbooks, and she's going to be doing donut demonstrations to show you how to
Mm.
make your own donuts.
Mhm.
And what I said was like, why would I make my own donuts? Someone
Mhm.
else can do that.
Yeah,
But some
yeah.
people like to do things apparently.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then Chef Matthew Unger, who has had a couple of restaurants around St. Louis and has done a lot of corporate chefing and things over the years. He and his co-author Portia Moran have written a book called Missouri Comfort, all about like comfort foods across the state. And so he's
Yeah.
going to be doing Kansas City burnt ends at the
Ooh.
festival,
Oh,
which should be. I just picture
Yummy.
like the scent waves going out through Washington, and
Should
people
be
like in
yummy.
old cartoons, they'll just come in with their noses bobbing.
Uh-huh.
Some of the other authors go, "That's not fair. That's not fair."
All I have is my book.
I know. You
yeah.
got food.
So it should
Scratch the
be
sniff book.
the food demos will be a lot of fun, and then there will be lots of food trucks and drink trucks around, and there's restaurants also pretty walkable from there. too.
Wait. Drink trucks? What is a
What?
drink
This is a
truck?
family show.
Sure.
Mark.
What's I know. Is
gotta-
it?
You know, coffee.
Kona Ice.
Oh, not margaritas. Just
If I were in charge, there would be a margarita truck. But
okay.
I
I'm
will
just
see.
asking. Okay,
Yeah,
drink
they've
trucks. I
got
just
Kona
don't.
Ice, Just Hank's Coffee,
Okay.
Ernesto's Authentic Mexican,
Okay.
Saucy's Pizza, and the Washington Optimist Club with a soda and beverage tent.
Oh, the beverage. Okay.
I will say for people who want a beverage, stick around till the last event of the day. There's a poetry slam at a wine bar in Washington,
A poetry slam.
so you can go and
These are all new.
Get slammed
terms
at
to
the
me.
poetry slam.
No, no.
drink wine and listen to people recite their
I
poetry.
don't think
So-
that's what they meant, but that's okay.
It brings new meaning to the word.
Poetry slam.
So I love this, that there's sports, dance, comics, drawing, art,
Yeah.
animals, history, gardening, poetry, and the wonders of wildlife animal adventure.
That's going to be really fun. This is their first time at the festival. So Wonders of Wildlife is this gigantic museum in Springfield. This is Johnny Morris money from Bass Pro Shops.
Okay.
He has used a lot of his profits that everyone has spent over the years. Thank you, all of us
Yeah.
at Bass Pro Shops, to build these incredible museums. So there's an aquarium down there in Springfield and Wonders of Wildlife Museum. They are bringing their live animal show on the road.
Wow.
So they're going to be here with one of their animal educators. She's going to have some live animals that you can,
Mhm.
Wow.
I don't know, pet, touch,
Whoa.
listen to it read
Yeah,
poetry. I'm
petting.
not sure.
Wow.
Petting thing. Yeah.
So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Circus Harmony, we've had
Oh,
them
yeah.
in studio and on
Yes.
several programs. They
This
do a great job.
Sounds
Yeah.
like so much
That'll
fun.
be fun.
Yeah,
down
it's
there.
really it's just like everywhere you turn, there's something happening. And I was describing it to a friend, and it is sort of like an all-day music festival or something like that, where you need to look at the grid.
Yeah.
Because if you really want to see the circus, then you want to hear this one author read, and then you want to go to the comic drawing demonstration. You're going to need to map your route out a little bit.
And again,
Wow.
it's not, unless I'm, they put them like 4 or 5 blocks away. But
No, it's within a couple of blocks.
Right,
everything, the radius of it.
I love this, Mark. This is a favorite. Laura Ingalls Wilder and Mark Twain impersonators.
Mark Twain. I love it. Okay.
He's coming down from Hannibal to do that.
I assume they are separate. I don't think there's any engagement between them, but I don't know if there's going to be professional wrestling between the Mark Twain and the Laura Ingalls Wilder. I mean, I guess anything could happen.
Yeah, let's have that happen. Okay.
I mean, my money's on Laura, honestly. If you read those books, she survived some tough stuff.
Wow.
So
Okay.
That's right.
She could truss up a hog or something if she needed to.
Yes.
It's a tough room.
And then for the kids, favorite family book characters: Pete the Cat, Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Elephant and Piggy, and Clifford the Big Red Dog's going to be there.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Mine
Clifford's
too.
great.
Those are fun. Clifford has held on over the years too.
Yes, he
Yes, he
has. Yes, he has.
Now,
well, some of us really like Clifford, so I think we're
keeping
in
it
there.
alive.
Yeah, we are. We're keeping him propped up.
the first festival was 2022.
Right.
And it was a great success. This is the second. Am I off on a year or something? Or we didn't have it last year? Or?
We skipped a year. I think it's going to, I can't say for certain, but I think it's going to be an every other year thing.
Okay.
It takes quite a lot to pull off.
I would think so.
Talking about an enormous amount of moving parts. So I think the plan is for it to be an every other year.
So how would you call that an every other year, not an annual kind of, a semi-annual? Or that would be twice a year.
Biannual? Is that every
It's
other
a
year?
biannual. It's a
biannual festival.
I think Amanda's right.
Mark's the Latin speaker. Marcus, right?
Yeah.
Marcus, Josephus Langstonius.
It's a biannual. Okay.
Thank you, Latin specialist.
You're welcome.
Now, if they decide to do it next year, don't quote me because I could be wrong, but that is my impression.
Okay.
But it's drawn a lot of people, thousands
Yes.
from the state back a couple years ago.
Right. Yeah.
remember.
People came from far away. I mean, obviously, a lot of people from St. Louis area, from Washington area, mid-Missouri, but there was a group of librarians who came from down in the Boot Heel.
Mhm.
And this was kind of like their professional development field trip that they did.
Oh, that's
and
great.
They
Road
got
trip.
they got book festival tattoos as a group. That was
festival tattoos. Wow.
Well, we did. I was in a booth at the festival. They did
I
that
was
on their
going to
own.
ask if you had a booth like that.
No, that'll be Missouri Book Festival after hours or something. But yeah, but they came, like they planned a trip and came and did the whole full day. And
Wow.
Let's get tattoos.
Good for them.
That was those drink trucks got them going.
I guess so. And I'm wondering if and you'd have to check the train schedule, but you could take the train down to Washington
for sure. Yes.
and back.
Yeah.
How fun.
Either catch it down here at Union Station or at
in
Kirkwood.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice little ride out there.
That'd be great. Because that train station's wonderful down there.
It is. You're right.
And you'd be right there. You could literally walk up the hill and be at the festival.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
My goodness gracious. And I think it comes back in the afternoon about 4 or 5 o'clock. Or
Yeah, you don't want to miss it. In other words, got to wait till the next day.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't run. I think they run twice a day.
Yeah.
But you better check the schedule out.
Yeah, you got to check that.
I had a question about how many of the authors and what kind of the books are really kind of Missouri based, or are they all Missouri based authors?
The authors are all Missouri authors. Yes. The books,
great question.
A lot of them are related to some kind of Missouri topic, but not necessarily. Some of them are an author with a like a self-help kind of book that's just something that they wrote, but they are all Missouri authors. Yes.
And you're going to be an author down there yourself?
I'll be there. Yes, I will actually. I'm sort of being a right-hand girl to my most recent collaborator, who's an illustrator named Dan Zetwalk. He and I did a book called Missouri Weird and Wonderful, which is just lore and facts and stories and strange stuff, but it's fully illustrated. Oh. Dan's an incredible artist. So he's actually doing a sort of draw-along demo teaching class called Drawing from Life. And I'm going to be there handing him markers and talking about the book because I don't have any artistic skills, but I'm a good sidekick.
All right. We're talking to Amanda Doyle about the biannual Missouri Book Festival, which is going to take place September 13th and 14th. This is Arnold Stricker with Marcus Josephus Langstonius of St. Louis and Tune. And Amanda, tell us a little bit about that book that you're collaborating on. To tease us a little bit about some of the things that are kind of, what was the title again?
It's called Missouri Weird and Wonderful.
What are some of the weird and wonderful things about Missouri?
This is right up Amanda's alley too.
Yes.
So the book is divided into, I wish I had a copy to show you, but I know. So it's divided. If you look at it, it looks like a kind of like a graphic novel, comic book style book. It's like eye popping. The color is crazy. There's a million things going on, and it's divided into chapters. So we have famous Missourians, we have historical moments, we have food, we have natural wonders, we have oddities. What is that chapter called? Oddities and something I can't remember. Recreation, things like that. So these are little tidbits from around the state. Each one illustrated by Dan. There's a little blurb that I wrote, 50, 75 words. So we talk about Elephant Rock State Park. We talk about the Trail of Tears going through Missouri. We talk about Kansas City burnt ends. Speaking of burnt ends, we talk about how burnt ends came to be. We talk about the oddities chapter is things like the Jefferson Barracks Telephone Museum. Apparently Dan Zetwalk's favorite place in the world to draw.
Yeah, it's the CCC down there.
Yeah, right. And they have telephones from every era of telephonic communication.
Right.
Wow.
They have some very interesting stuff down at Jefferson Barracks.
There's a lot down there.
There's the CCC museum down there, and like
never knew.
Yeah, and then they have.
I learn something new all the time on this show.
It's why we are in existence. We are here to inform and educate the populace to become greater.
I didn't know that was going on
people.
down there, though. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's
I didn't mean to interrupt.
like a Civil War museum down there.
Yeah. And this telephone museum where they have everything from field telephones from World War I to like the hamburger phone from the 1980s. They've just got everything. So that's one of the things we write about. The Thomas Hart Benton murals in the state capitol is one of the illustrations. So it's just a collection of little fun oddities from around the state. And he and I have done some school programs with it. And it's designed to tell you something you didn't know, but also I think it's not necessarily just for kids, but kids like it because of the drawing style. And, I think a lot of times wherever you grow up, you don't think it's that great. Right. Everywhere else is great, right? You go on vacation, you see these places on TV. So we wanted to give kids like things in Missouri that are just cool.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing.
Haven't been to Elephant Rocks
Haven't
forever.
You? Oh, okay.
It's been, I think it was like 10.
Yeah. Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Still.
Johnson shut-ins.
Oh,
yeah.
So what's the weirdest thing you found out?
Ooh,
from your perspective?
So many weird things.
This is rising to the weird of the weirdest.
I know. Yeah. So we wrote about so something like really weird, and then I'll tell you just cool thing I enjoyed finding out. So one of the weirdest things that we researched and put in the book is the Joplin spook light, which is allegedly you can see it from Joplin, Missouri. Everyone who's researched it has traced the actual location of it to this tiny town in Oklahoma. There we go. Right across the border. But people say that
spook light in Joplin, Missouri.
Imagine, if you will, that you can look on the horizon and there's this ball of fire that kind of like moves back and forth, maybe a mile-ish. It's been investigated by the Army Corps of Engineers. It's been investigated by all these paranormal researchers, and it's not yet been authenticated or sort of explained, but it's a common thing that people see.
Wow. What do they call that? An aerial? What's the UFO now? Is it unidentified aerial phenomenon or something? UAP.
Is that the thing? Look at you're keeping me up on my good theories.
Imagine, if you will.
I know. It's like, wow.
But okay, a thing that's not like spooky crazy, but just really interesting to me. So the Missouri state fish is the paddlefish.
I didn't know that.
It looks like the body of it is like a gar, like a long skinny thing, but its nose is not pointy. It's like a big flat, like you can imagine just like a big spatula kind of thing, right? Yeah. So the point of the paddle is that it can detect electrical impulses. And that is how the paddlefish finds its prey. It just swims around. And if you're down on the bottom, its nose can be like, something's heart's beating down there. And it goes down and eats it.
Wow.
Can you catch a paddlefish?
Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, they're very common.
So they're common.
Mississippi? Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Probably up the Missouri too.
I mean, I'm hoping if it were swimming next to me, it'd be like, it's alive, but too big for me to eat.
Yeah.
But
how long is that?
They can
get pretty good.
Yeah, they can get a couple feet, I think, for the really large ones.
Wow. I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they don't eat people though. I don't think so.
No.
They're not
but
people
they
eaters.
could. They know we're there.
I didn't know that was the state fish. I wonder why they call it the paddlefish. Because
it's a paddle.
Thing.
Yeah, it looks like a paddle.
I mean, it's so dorky looking. You look at it and you would not think.
It
just looks like.
I know. I didn't know that they had that little thing on the end though, where they could sense things like that.
It's an electrified I don't know exactly what you call that, but
Again, we're learning new things here.
right. So
Oh.
I learned that writing that book. There you go.
And if you didn't know that Ridley Pearson, who's going to be doing the keynote address on Friday, that's Friday the 13th at 7 o'clock, is that correct?
Yep.
At the Missouri Book Festival. He has a star on the St. Louis Walk of Fame. He's a member of the Missouri Writers Hall of Fame. He has received a Fulbright at Oxford, and his novels have been published, Mark, in 24 languages.
Get out of here.
And adapted for network television, Broadway stage. And he's an original member of the Rock Bottom Remainders, the all-author rock and roll band, whose other members include Stephen King, Amy Tan, Dave Barry, and Matt Groening.
Wow.
So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston of St. Louis in Tune. Don't go away. The United States has a strong tradition of welcoming newcomers and refugees. The Welcome Corps is a new service opportunity for Americans inspired to welcome those seeking freedom and safety and in turn help strengthen their own communities. Welcome Corps is a public-private partnership that is inspired by what Americans represent to so many around the world, a beacon of hope and refuge. All it takes is a helping hand. Are you ready to learn more? Contact the International Institute of St. Louis at info@iistl.org or call 314-773-9090. That's info@iistl.org or call 314-773-9090. This is Arnold Stricker of St. Louis in Tune on behalf of the Dred Scott Heritage Foundation. In 1857, the Dred Scott decision was a major legal event and catalyst that contributed to the Civil War. The decision declared that Dred Scott could not be free because he was not a citizen. The 14th Amendment, also called the Dred Scott Amendment, granted citizenship to all born or naturalized here in our country and was intended to overturn the U.S. Supreme Court decision on July 9, 1868. The Dred Scott Heritage Foundation is requesting a commemorative stamp to be issued from the U.S. Postal Service to recognize and remember the heritage of this amendment by issuing a stamp with the likeness of the man Dred Scott. But we need your support and the support of thousands of people who would like to see this happen. To achieve this goal, we ask you to download, sign, and share the one-page petition with others. To find the petition, please go to dredscottlives.org and click on the Dred Scott Petition Drive on the right side of the page. On behalf of the Dred Scott Heritage Foundation, this has been Arnold Stricker of St. Louis in Tune.
Here. Arnold's playing the piano there. Tickling the
On the Hammond
ivories.
B3.
Oh my!
You could be in the Rock Bottom Remainders. You could like be up there jamming with Ridley
Yeah.
Pearson.
Yeah, jamming. Like
Also
You
that
be-
with
you be jamming,
I'd be jamming with
Ridley.
with what's his face from
Ridley.
Maine,
Stephen King.
Stephen King. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and I wonder if he wears a clown hat when he plays.
No, he has those shoes though. He does have the shoes.
I wonder what instrument he plays. I will have to look that up.
Ay, ay, ay.
So I always love it, Missouri,
Oh,
because the initials for Missouri are M.O. and it's always Mo this, Mo that. So it's Read Mo Books.
Mhm.
Read Mo.
Read Mo Books.
Yeah.
And we're talking
Is that the website? Is it Missouri?
MissouriBookFestival.com.
Is it the whole word?
It is,
It's a
but
whole word.
when we were talking about Missouri Weird and Wonderful, Dan and I call it Mo Weird. That's our abbreviation
Oh,
for it.
Mo Weird.
Let's get
Okay.
Mo Weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that too. Let's
So we're talking to Amanda Doyle about the Missouri Book Festival, and she's listening to two weirdos here, Mark and I. Actually, it's Marcus Josephus
Oh, yeah.
Langstonius,
Holy
the Latin expert of St. Louis in Tune.
Somebody had to be.
Is Latin even a language anymore? No.
Yeah,
Is it really?
it's
I
being
thought they got-
resurrected.
Is it?
If you know Latin, I tell you what, you can do really well on the SAT.
Oh, is that a fact? Okay.
I
Yes.
could have been a lawyer.
Yeah.
I don't know Latin.
You could be having your face on a billboard
Oh,
and
that's what I
be in
did.
commercials all over
I
the
know,
place.
it's
Besides
already in
that
the-
and drug companies.
It's in the
you know.
post office. It might
my
as well be on a
gosh.
Say like
billboard.
sumo people or something. Yeah.
Sumo people. Get more money.
Wow. This is like okay.
I haven't unwound for a long time, Mark.
No, I can
I've
tell.
been too
I know
tight.
he doesn't get out much.
No. So Amanda, there's going to be some new books that people can buy and listen about.
Yeah, there are going to be tons of authors with their books there. There's like a vendor fair of that kind of thing. But 2 of the brand new books that'll be debuting that day that have a program going on. One is called Mapping St. Louis, written by Andy Hahn, who's the executive director of the Campbell House Museum.
Andy's going to be here in a couple of weeks and talk about that book.
Excellent. So it is cool. It's 40 maps of St. Louis, all different kinds, historical, sort of like pop maps, like certain, like one's made for a specific purpose. And he's going to talk about how the maps that you make about a place sort of show what you think about it and how it's traced like the city's sort of different eras of development and population. So that'll be fun. And the other one is called Lost Treasures of St. Louis. It's an updated edition of this very popular book that came out a few years ago. And this is all of the places that people remember that aren't there anymore. So restaurants and amusement parks and bowling alleys and just like these institutions that meant so much to people. So Cameron Collins is the author of that. There's a lot of great photography in there, people's sort of snapshots. And then
we had his co-author on to talk about that book.
Oh, Dennis,
several years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Dennis Dillon?
Yep. So this is a new edition of that. And people just love that book. I mean, we can't get enough of talking about all the things we don't have anymore.
Well, that's cool. And you know, what's nice about that is while it's here local, other people in outstate Missouri or maybe in Northwest Missouri, they're going to have an opportunity to, you know, rub shoulders with these authors.
Right.
And I'm sure there's other authors in other parts of the state, just not St. Louis.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have a lot of authors there who are mid-Missouri based, and a couple of Kansas City people as well. So it is that's another good thing about having it in Washington, although it's fairly close to St. Louis. It's middle enough of the state that we do draw from Kansas City, from Springfield, from some of the other areas that quite honestly don't get a lot of attention when there are national book tours going or, you know, book festivals, things like that. So it's nice to be able to have that for the state.
And it's one thing we really like to do is have authors on here to talk about their latest book and to encourage listeners to purchase them and get familiar because they're very enlightening. They're educational. They're not necessarily novel kinds of things like what I would call a narrative kind of thing, but they're mostly about places or about history, historical kinds of things that go on in our area and in the state. And that's really good. Now, last year or 2 years ago, I should say, one of our good friends who we've had on the show also did the keynote address. And he is down in Orlando, Florida now. Remember, he came to the studio when the studio was in Webster Groves. I'm making Mark guess about this. He was a local news broadcaster.
Oh, no. Yeah. He was on Channel 2.
First name John. Yes, that's
John.
correct.
John guy.
John Brown.
John Brown.
John Guy. We call him John Guy.
And he's written several books on Missouri also.
Definitely. He calls himself Mr. Missouri.
Really?
And he's in Orlando?
Well, right now he's in Orlando, but he always
how does that
says you just call yourself
awfully-
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, because you know
Mr.
why?
Mo.
Mr.
Mo. He, because of the business he's in, you're kind of like a athlete. You get traded.
Yeah.
So he's in Orlando because his news organization said, "Hey, we need you in Orlando." So he, whenever I hear from or hear about John, he's like, "But I'm coming back to Mo." So I'm sure he'll be back eventually.
He will.
Yeah.
It would be fun.
He's a Missouri guy.
Yeah, he wrote I'm trying to think of his most recent book. I think it is. He wrote a book called Missouri Legends, and it's just about like the kind of stories of a bunch of famous people from Missouri. And
he didn't include us in that book, though.
Well, there's got to be a new edition.
I know.
We're not
I don't
legends
know
yet.
what
do you need to do to be a legend?
I think you got to die.
Oh, great.
Sorry.
I don't want to have any part of this.
Maybe that's Latin. It's a dead
Count
language.
me out, right? I know.
Latin Mo.
Latin Mo.
Bowling.
Oh my God. Okay, what's the next question?
There are some sports things besides the wrestling, wrestling that's going to go on with librarians.
Wrestling.
Yep.
Wrestling.
The other big
Are
sports
the
thing.
librarians going to do the wrestling?
Oh, they would. They get tattoos. They're
Yeah.
I was going to
hardcore.
say.
They're hardcore librarians.
They got tattoos, piercings. Right.
Dave Lang is a Missouri author who's written several books about soccer.
Yes, Dave's been on the show.
and he's going to be there with some former U.S. like Team USA players and a sports guy from ESPN whose name I'm sadly blanking on right now. But they're going to be talking about soccer, but also kind of how soccer built the reputation of St. Louis and Missouri nationally and internationally, sort of the heyday of soccer, and how it's coming back around again now with both Sporting KC and with
St. Louis City SC.
Yes, City SC. So that'll be a fun talk,
folks. That would be a great talk. You need to go down for that one, especially if you can see some individuals.
When we had him on our show, I didn't know that soccer had been around St. Louis for a long time.
Yeah, there's a huge
way
history
over
here.
100 years. Yes, the history of soccer in St. Louis, it goes way in the late 1800s, I believe.
We made the World Cup come to the United States. We were instrumental. St. Louis was instrumental. Some of the players, who made it work.
Well, and if you look at now at the fan base for City SC, people are crazy for it. There's been I think like a pent up desire for it for a long time.
Right.
So
I agree with that.
it's nice to see that that's so supported.
So what's your, do you have a favorite one of these things that have you planned out your schedule? Of course, you're going to be.
It's her presentation. It's her favorite.
Yeah, right.
No, it's that's, I've seen mine.
Okay.
I mean, it's good, but I've seen it a lot of times.
Go to the drink truck when she comes up.
There we go. Maybe I'll go beforehand. I'm going to say there are probably two. Okay, there's three. Actually, two of them conflict, so I don't know which one I'm going to go to. So I'm very into this this ballet, the Nutcracker set at the 1904 World's Fair. I would really like to see that performance. But at the same time, there is a local writer and artist named David Gordon who's doing a interactive create a comic book cover.
We know David. David's been on the show too.
Oh, awesome. So he's going to be, asking for suggestions from the crowd, and he's going to try to create this large scale comic book cover in real time. So that should be fun.
And that will be really a lot of fun. He does a great job.
Yeah. I've not seen him present, but I've heard from people who have met him other places.
He's a lot of fun. He's very dynamic and enjoys what he does.
Yeah. And then one of the cooking demos that we haven't talked about that I'm really interested in is called Crepes with Kids. So Ann Carpenter, who is the owner of Kitchen Conservatory, which is a cooking school and shop here in St. Louis, she and Tara Smith, who wrote Best Mom St. Louis, are going to be doing a crepe demo. Yeah. Kind of like donuts. I love to eat crepes. Have I ever made them? No. That seems impossible. Apparently it's not. Apparently kids can do it.
Really?
So I'm going to go to that demo and sit on my knees and pretend I'm a kid and see if I can figure out how to make a crepe, because I love a crepe.
That's great, because Kitchen Conservatory, a wonderful place. They moved from Clayton out to Brentwood and Manchester, right? Just kind of almost out to Rock Hill. And Tara's been on the show too about her book, and just unbelievable kinds of things that she's been.
Greatest hits.
Yeah. We're kind of a greatest hit kind of book show here.
Very worldly kind of show.
But that'll be fun, and I think kids will. My kids love to just make messes in the kitchen, so they might as well be making me a crepe. Is what I think.
I think you're right about that.
It's a great family thing to do, is to cook together.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great family thing to do.
Oh yeah.
I noticed this. Let's go fishing. That's interesting.
Yes, Paige Halsey. She's on Channel 4. Yeah, she is a published children's author. She actually has her second book is coming out this weekend at the festival. But she's going to be doing. She's going to be talking about her fishing book. She's a big fisher person.
Really?
Right.
Yes. And she grew up in Washington, so that's kind of fun. Wow. She's going to be having a homecoming day for herself. She'll be talking about her fishing book.
Yeah.
So on the map, folks, you can go to MissouriBookFestival.com, and there is a program schedule, and it will show you items that are for all ages, items for specifically designated for children, items designated specifically for adults. And there's a map and of locating of where things are, and it's just a great festival to kind of take the kids down. Maybe you should check out the train schedule to go down there. That would be a great way to save some money on gasoline and have a great time with your family. They'll be sacked out on the way back. And
I'll be there on Friday signing autographs.
Okay, Mark will be there.
Yeah, just have to find me.
Sign them in Latin also.
That's it. I will do that too. I'm kidding. But I will be there on Friday though.
I'll see you there Friday. I'll be there too.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, and it's like if you get to downtown Washington, if you haven't been before, I know sometimes it's stressful. Where are we going to, if you get within striking distance, it will be very obvious where everything is.
Yes.
You're going to park and you're going to walk all day.
It's the
Just hang
signage
out.
is actually pretty good. It's very good down there. You get a chance. You could actually walk right up to the river.
Yes.
That's one thing I love about Washington
Mhm.
is you can sit on a bench very
Mhm.
close to the river in the park there. And I used to go do that. Back in the day, I would just,
Really?
it's very peaceful to me. You hear the water rushing by
Mhm.
and
Way
it's
back.
just really nice.
That was way back.
That's
Way back in the day.
way back in the day.
I started my broadcasting career in Union.
Oh, not too far.
Yeah, lived in Krakow,
Krakow, yes.
which is halfway between Union and Washington.
Yes.
Spent a lot of time in Washington.
Yeah, it's a nice town.
It
It's
is.
Very
a
nice town.
it's far enough away from any big city to be its own place, which
Right.
is what I really like about
Right.
it.
Yeah, it's only maybe not even an hour drive, I don't think, out of St. Louis. 50 miles or something.
Right.
Mhm.
And you could take 100.
44. Yeah.
44 or 100 all the way out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing to it.
No. Amanda, thanks for coming in and talking to us
What?
about
She's
this.
leaving?
Thanks for having me.
Are you kicking her out?
Do you
Kick-
have anything else you
Kick
want
her to
tell
the
us?
curb
Did we
here? What
miss
are you
anything?
doing here?
Did we miss anything? I
I
don't
don't
think so.
know.
I just think it's going to be a lot of fun, and so far the weather is holding out, so it's should
gonna
be a
be
nice.
nice.
Well, let me ask you this. Are
Fall
there any,
day.
what are the books on the horizon other than the one that you mentioned to us? Do you have any books on the horizon?
Oh, I do.
Can you mention them to us?
I can, because if I say it, then I'll actually have to start working on it.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
yes,
so-
I will.
All right, now I'll dig.
That's
I have
it.
signed a contract for this book. Actually, Cameron Collins, the author of Lost Treasures and other books as well. Cameron and I are writing a history of Forest Park
Ooh.
because Forest Park will be 150 years old in 2026,
Yeah.
and we're
Oh
doing it.
my.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
History in Forest Park.
Yes.
this is kind of this is where we are. We're like, okay.
Where do you start?
Well, we started with a giant list. That's where I start everything,
Yeah.
a giant list. But
Okay.
but it's going to be great because Cameron's a historian by training.
Mhm.
He obviously has written about many things that I have not, and vice versa. So and we've actually for a long time wanted to work on a project together. We work similarly. We both like the part where you go out and talk about it.
Right.
So yeah, we're very excited about
Because
it.
what I would call the real hard work is doing the research
Mhm.
and determining, okay, what is really true, what is
Mhm.
folk legend.
And like what's in and what's out. That's always hard.
Yes.
I could research this for the rest of my life, but at some
Yes.
point you actually have to write it, unfortunately. So
Well, a shameless plug to a great organization, Forest Park Forever, who really saved Forest Park.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I remember when we were in high school,
Mhm.
the place was a dump.
It was.
And it was horrible. You really didn't want to go there. You know,
No,
the streets
scared.
were just a mess. And you go down there, now we ride the bike down there,
Mhm.
and it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Flowers and how it's taken care
Mhm.
of. And they seem to know exactly when to mow the lawn because we're going to have activities out here and people
Right.
will be on the lawn.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's just a park that I think is utilized. I don't want to say this in a boasting way, but maybe more than any other park in the United
Mhm.
States.
it's so well, and the fact that so many institutions are there,
Right.
You know, like the park as a park is one thing, and then you look at
Mhm.
the art museum, the history museum, the jewel box, the
Mhm.
boathouse, the
Mhm.
And
science
people
center.
use it. People are
Yes,
Oh,
I mean
yeah.
all the time.
All the
So,
time.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
it's going to
zoo,
be
yeah.
very
Right.
exciting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
there. So if you've not joined Forest Park Forever, I
Mhm.
encourage you to do so.
Huh. And then there's the world. You remember the old World's Fair wall? It's
Mm.
finally gone. And they built a replica of it.
Yeah.
Which I've kind of looked at and going, I know the old one was falling down. It was certainly coming.
Where's that?
It's along the Forest Park Expressway.
Okay.
There's a wall there,
Oh yeah.
and it's a replica
The concrete wall.
of what
Yeah.
the World's Fair wall was.
Okay.
Mhm.
And it used to run all along there until not too long ago, maybe.
Yeah, it was not in good shape.
When they redid Metrolink there.
But they left it up, and it was slowly deteriorating
Mhm.
and falling apart. And
I didn't know that was part of the World's Fair. I thought that was just
yeah.
those houses back there behind.
No. And then I think there's like little windows that were in the wall, but I think they filled those
Right.
in.
Correct.
So if you look at it, those were actually like little windows where you could look into the World's Fair. But it was a wall that went around the World's Fair at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. I grew up in that neighborhood, so that's where I
You would know
learned
that.
about that.
You would
It's
know that.
definitely. I mean, it looks better now than I think it probably ever
Oh,
has.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
it's amazing to the work that they do, that
Yeah.
Forest Park Forever does, and it's a huge success story.
What a
So,
history that park has. Yeah.
So when you do your research, Missouri History Museum, you
Mhm.
go to the Historical Society, the one
Yeah.
on Lindell, or where do you down to the Central
Mhm.
Library in the city?
all of that. The State Mercantile Library is a
Mhm.
really good
Oh,
resource.
good
At
place.
UMSL.
Never
Yeah,
forget.
the Missouri State what's it called? Missouri State Museum?
History.
Not the Missouri History Museum. There's there's one in Columbia, based in Columbia.
Oh,
That's like a
okay.
state archive.
Okay.
And people's basements, like a lot of my other books, I say, who's got
aye.
snapshots, who's got many people, just like with Tower Grove Park when I wrote about it. So many people have a family history related to the park, either events or growing up near it or using it for some kind of purpose. So people feel really connected to it.
Mhm.
Well, the ability to foresee how parks had an impact on people back then, mainly for enjoyment, number one, but
Mhm.
people would sleep there in the summertime. It's cooler. But you look at Tower Grove Park, you look at Carondelet Park,
Mhm.
and the kinds of facilities, and even O'Fallon Park, or excuse me, Fairground Park,
Mhm.
which back in the day looked very similar to Carondelet Park and had the big, what I would call like castle up there,
Yeah,
and they had
right.
the racetrack up there, and they had the swimming pool up there.
Right.
And that park has kind of been deteriorated and not kept up. And some of the other parks, and they're kind of making a comeback. And even where we grew up in University City, there were parks near all of the elementary schools. So you
Right.
could go to the park, and it's kind of the community neighborhood kind of thing we talked about.
Isn't Forest Park like close to the same size or like the second largest or something?
Larger than Central Park.
Is
in
that
New
what
York
it
City.
is?
Yes,
Okay.
it's like 300 acres larger than Central Park, I
Wow.
think. Yeah.
Right
So-
here in St. Louis.
Take that, New York.
Yeah.
Take that.
They ain't got nothing on us.
No. we've got the Latin scholar here.
That's right. Let's hear it for
What
the
are you
Latin
talking
Scholar,
about?
ladies. Thank you very much.
What are you
Throw
talking
money.
about?
Throw money. Okay.
Well, hang around here, Amanda. Do you have any days of the day, Mark?
You want me to look? Let me see. Yeah, boy, he always throws me like a one of those balls that it's a National Anti-Junk Light Day. Learn how to prevent your eyes from becoming damaged by different sources of junk light. Do you know what junk light is? Like your cell phone? Do you have and we talked about
He's looking at junk light right now.
Junk light.
Protect yourself.
junk light. Yeah. Protect yourself from junk light.
Huh.
I think it's a great idea to do that. National Chocolate Milkshake Day.
Now we're talking.
See, I
Ooh.
knew that would get Amanda.
Ooh.
Let's do it. Forget about junk light. I've moved on.
Yeah. Chocolate banana.
I
milkshake,
know it.
yeah.
National Encouragement Day. Don't encourage Amanda anymore.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I know. Let's see. I know there's a couple more here. I know there has to be. Oh, Bald is Beautiful Day.
Okay, there you're
Let's
talking
see,
now.
now we're talking Arnold's. Yeah. Arnold, I know. He just does that all the time. Oh, National Blame Someone Else Day. We all
Some
had
people do that
plenty
every
of
day.
practice, so it should be a widely daunted task. National, I know. International Chocolate Day goes with the chocolate.
Ooh.
You like chocolate?
Yes.
This will probably get you in trouble, but it's National Hug Your Boss Day. I don't know. Oh, Positive Thinking Day.
Mm.
Amanda's going, where did all these days come from?
I'm
National Doodle Day. That would be a good one.
oh
too.
good.
Yeah.
I'll share that with my artist friends.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
National Doodle. I know. We're almost to the end here. I know that. This is what your Congress is doing. Okay. This is weird. Drive your Studebaker Day. Do you know what a Studebaker is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Um,
How old is that day?
I
12,
don't.
12 people are observing. I mean, I can't imagine how many
Yeah.
Studebakers are out there.
No, there can't be many. This is Amanda's favorite day. I can't believe I overlooked this. National Cream Filled Donut Day.
Ooh.
I'm still with chocolate milkshakes, but I will tell my husband he's the cream filled donut person.
National Eat a Hoagie Day. Is that what it
There's
is?
a lot of eating here.
Yeah.
I like it.
National Food is Medicine Day.
Chocolate milkshakes are medicine.
And the last one is one of the drink trucks they have to National Sober Day.
Oh.
National Sober Day is going to be.
All right. To those who observe.
I know. That's all I got there.
Mark, did you know that
No, I
in Las
didn't.
Vegas there are more Catholic churches than casinos? And not surprisingly, some worshipers at Sunday service give casino chips rather than cash when the basket is passed. And since they get the chips from many different casinos, the churches have devised a method to collect the offerings. The churches send all their collected chips to a nearby Franciscan monastery for sorting, and then the chips are taken to the casinos of origin and cashed in. This is done by the chipmunks.
Oh, come on.
Okay. I'm sorry, Amanda.
I had you going. I had you going.
You did.
I had you hook, line, and sinker.
Amanda was like on the edge of her chair there.
I was thinking they're making a lot of work for these poor monks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate it when people ask me if I did anything exciting over the weekend, like I'm over here skydiving. I'm old. I went to Walmart, did some laundry, ate too much food, and took a nap.
Yep.
You know, Mark, my mind is like an internet browser. 19 tabs are open, 3 of them are frozen, and I have no idea where the music's coming from. And yet again this morning, no one was standing next to my bed saying, "Your Royal Highness, here is your mimosa."
Okay.
You know, speaking of mimosas, I found that I have been happier since I changed from coffee in the morning to orange juice. My doctor explained that it's the vitamin C and natural sugars, but I really think it's the vodka.
Yeah, let's hear it for vodka.
You know, I don't want to brag or make anyone jealous, but I can still fit into the earrings I wore in high school.
Wow, get that horse out of here. What?
Well, let's see.
Oh my, there's more? No. Stop while you're ahead.
A scammer called my grandma last night, informing her that he had all her passwords. She grabbed a pen and paper and said, "Oh, perfect. What are they?" And did you know we talked about Mo standing for Missouri?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what diet stands for?
No.
Did I eat that? I don't like to think before I speak. I like to be just as surprised as everybody else about what comes out of my mouth.
We are.
Then there was the sign on the side of the road that said septic tanks pumped, swimming pools filled.
Oh.
Not the same truck, though.
Oh.
Wow. This is not, none of this is good, Arnold.
I just had a police officer knock on my door saying he was looking for a man with one eye. I told him to use both. He probably will find him a lot quicker.
Thank you. I think that's right. That's a smart, that's advice that we should all live by.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Let's see here. Before we perfect artificial intelligence, can we work on natural stupidity?
Let's hear it again. Okay. One more time, please.
Let's see. No English dictionary,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you're the Latin aficionado of the St. Louis and Tune, no English dictionary has been able to explain the difference between the two words complete and finished. And now that we have an author in our presence, this will also be good. Some people say there's no difference, but there is. When you marry the right woman, you are complete. When you marry the wrong woman, you are finished. And if you marry a wife who likes shopping, you are completely finished.
Your time is up. Oh, God. Ay, ay, ay.
Sometimes you need to stop seeing the good in people and start seeing what they show you. Sometimes their behavior is the answer you need.
Took us a minute. It had to sink in.
And we'll close with Japanese wisdom.
Thank goodness. Okay. Go
If it's not yours, don't take it. If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. If you don't know, shut up.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Thank you very much. Arnold.
Gently stated.
I know it.
Amanda's putting on her earrings from high school.
I am. Look how well they fit. So good.
Hey, thanks for coming in
Slid
today.
right back in. Thanks for having me.
Folks, don't forget the Missouri Book Festival, September 13th and 14th at MissouriBookFestival.com. That's all for this hour, and thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, you can listen to additional shows at stlntune.com. Consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or your preferred podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and continue to grow. I want to thank Bob Berthasell for our theme music, Amanda Doyle, our guest and co-host, Marcus
Thank you.
Langstonius.
Thank you very much.
And we thank you for being a part of our community of curious minds. St. Louis in Tune is a production of Motif Media Group and the U.S. Radio Network. Remember to keep seeking, keep learning, walk worthy, and let your light shine. For St. Louis in Tune, I'm Arnold Strickland.